everybody, and welcome to Mike Nierychlo Online, sharing my love for people, definitely wine, food, and all things made passionately. So today's episode, you've probably seen this label around on the shelf a couple times. Today, joining us from Road 13 Vineyards, Joe Luckhurst. Joe,
hi Mike.
Pleasure to have you by the garage today.
Glad to be here.
Awesome. Looking forward to it. So Road 13, located on the Golden Mile Bench in Oliver, BC.
That's right.
Actually, tell us a little about the background of Road 13. It's a family-run business, right?
It is. It's my parents, my brother, and I. My parents are obviously the main proprietors, and I kind of hang out in Vancouver and spend the money.
Yeah, there you go.
But we got into the wine industry just kind of by chance. We happened to be living in Soyuz over a summer, and my parents were going around tasting wine with people that came to visit us, and they all of a sudden realized that they really liked the romanticism of it and figured this would be a good place to retire into. So I got a call in September saying, hey, we bought a winery, and they figured that, this would be a good lifestyle, and they discovered they've never worked harder in their lives.
Absolutely. That's what it comes down to. So this was September of when? This was back in...
This was 2003, I believe.
2003. Now, before Road 13, you guys were called Golden
Mile Cellars.
Golden Mile Cellars.
And that was the name that it was when we bought it by the original owners, Peter and Helga Servo.
Okay.
And they were a Bavarian couple, and of course they were the ones that built our now infamous castle.
Yeah, I was going to ask about that. The castle. Tell me, I don't know how many people here watching, or if you've been in Oliver, make sure you stop by Road 13, because you pull up, and we'll talk a little bit about, they've got this new building, but you pull up, and they've got this old eclectic castle. It's very random. It's just kind of sitting there. What Bavarian couple? They built a castle?
They built a castle. I mean, they came over from Europe and they wanted to build a winery for their kids. And I don't know, Bavarians in their castles, I guess. That's all I can say.
The way it goes.
I was a little shocked when I first saw it too, but figured, all right, cool.
I know it's pretty cool. It gives you guys some character.
Absolutely.
Cool. Now the Luckhurst family, you guys are pretty solid Canadian folk, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Vancouver Island based and made your way over here.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was my dad. Grew up in Vancouver Island, Port Alberni. I mean, we just have generations over there. My mom actually came from Manchester, England.
Okay.
But my dad's side, I mean, we're in the lumber industry for years. We owned Raven Lumber out on Vancouver Island, which was on the big sawmills for years. My dad was a lumber trader and owned a lumber store called Superior Lumber when I was a kid.
And went from there.
Exactly.
Cool. So Road 13, you guys' shtick or catchphrase, whatever you want to call it, is it's all about the dirt.
That's right.
A lot of wineries, a lot of wine producers always talk about wine. It's about expressing the terroir, the flavor of the land. Tell us about why you guys chose that as your slogan.
In the end, it just came down to the idea that it's dirt, right? For us, it's not really terroir. It's not something that a Luckhurst would ever really say.
Yeah.
And we were sitting around one day, and my dad just happened to say, like, hey, what about a tagline? It's all about the dirt.
Yeah.
And I think some of us laughed at him, and then our marketing people kind of took it and ran with it, and it's awesome.
I like that. I like that. I mean, we're going for wine deep pretentious size. So
exactly.
Instead of saying terroir, let's just say dirt.
Exactly.
I like that. I like that. All right. Now, you guys for a while had a winemaker, probably since you started, Michael Barche.
Michael Barche joined us in about our second year. Before that, of course, Lawrence Herder was our first winemaker. Now is Herder Vineyards.
Yeah,
He's quite successful in his own right.
Yeah, he's down in the Smokemean, right?
He is, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
And otherwise, we've had Mike Barche throughout the rest of our run, through most of Golden Mile Cellars, and since we've been Road 13 Vineyards.
Excellent. Well, he's produced some excellent wine for you guys.
We were lucky to get him. He is as good as they come, and of course, he's a master blender, and what we wanted to concentrate on was blends. So
there you go.
We were very happy to have him with us with the time that we did, and we're glad to see him moving on to bigger and better things as well.
There you go. Now you've moved on to somebody new from back east, from Ontario region, right?
Yeah, we've moved on. Our new winemaker is named J.M. Bouchard.
Yeah.
J.M. was with Hidden Bench Winery, I believe it was called.
Okay.
You can check with that, I don't know. And he's got a wealth of experience. He's a very talented winemaker. And again, we're really excited where he's going to take us. I think this is the next step. I mean, the past 2 years, Wine Access has rated us number 6 in the country.
Excellent.
With JM, we're hoping to see in the top 3 within the next few years.
Bring it up a few steps.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Joe, now, what's kind of your role at the winery? They call you the liaison.
Yeah.
That's a little bit more than a word like dirt. But
yeah, we couldn't really figure out a name. It was kind of between winery liaison or brand ambassador. I couldn't really put on the card like guy who just does whatever. But basically, I live in Vancouver.
Yeah.
I come out, do this kind of thing. I host all our tastings in Vancouver, put together wine dinners and that sort of thing. Basically, just be the face of the winery for Vancouver.
For down here.
My parents don't necessarily want to do the 4-hour drive, 3 times a week. So.
There you go. Now you guys do a lot of wine dinners, a lot of hanging out with different restaurants, and you're kind of the host of that, right?
For the most part. I mean, the big ones, or any ones that my parents can make it down to, they come down for those. They like to be there, and people, of course, always want to meet them. I mean, they're really the proprietors.
Yeah, right? Mick and Pam, right?
Exactly, yeah. And they're almost as famous as our wiener dogs, Meg and Phil.
Meg and Phil, the wiener dogs. I met them when I've been up there. Great little wiener dogs.
Oh yeah, no, they're a blast.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I help organize the things, and when I can, I do them myself. I believe the next one we have coming up that I'm doing is in Victoria at the Gorgevale Golf Course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, a bit of a dinner or just kind of a to-do?
It's a full-on wine dinner. They're putting together something awesome there, and it's a good fit for us since the Gorgevale is really a golf course that wants to be a little more catering to the blue-collar guy anyway. So
there you go. Now, so talking all about the dirt, you guys are located on the Golden Mile bench with a little bit of property on the Black Sage bench across from you too.
That's right.
Now a lot of people say Golden Mile, Black Sage are kind of the premier growing areas of BC or of Canada in general. So you guys chose a pretty cool location.
Yeah. We definitely lucked out when we bought it, because like I said, we knew nothing about wine, we knew nothing about vines, and we just happened to get the premier spot.
Yeah.
I mean, really, where our castle is and the vineyard sitting around there, you could not ask for better land. We have beautiful soils. Mostly our 3 major soil types are stem winder, ratnip, and ponderosa, and almost all of those are very, very dark, rich soils with lots of rocks in them, so you get good drainage.
Yeah, so you're dealing with a lot of rock, a lot more than just clay or sand. You got a lot of that rock.
Exactly. Obviously, on the Black Sage, you get a little more sand. That's definitely more the common soil type over there. But,
yeah, for sure. And you guys are dealing a lot with Syrah and everything too, which tends to thrive over in the Black Sage. And
exactly. With something like Syrah, I mean, I've been told that you want it to suffer, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a grape grower myself. That is my dad, but I've definitely heard that. So
excellent. It works out. Cool. So we're tasting a Syrah forward wine today. This is your rock pile, right? Your
That's right.
Rock pile. Cool. Let's give this one a splash. See what it's all about. So your winemakers are pretty fortunate to come work with you guys, located where you are. You got some pretty good land to work with.
Well, they got good land, and really, I mean, with my father's work ethic and the work ethic he kind of bestows on everyone else that kind of comes there, we get the best grapes you can possibly.
What's the price point? This is your 08 rock pile. It's about $25, is that right?
It's $24.99.
$24.99, yeah. Definitely a Syrah forward wine. You get a pile of that like pepper, crushed stone, and like violet.
Yeah.
A lot of that floral violet coming through. Neat wine. There's a whole bunch of other wines blended into here, different grape varieties to kind of spice it up, get a little pizzazz.
Absolutely. Well, this is 60% Syrah, then we got 19% Merlot. And then the rest is made up of Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, Zinfandel, Grenache, and Viognier.
Okay. So Viognier is giving it a little bit of that spike of the floral characteristic.
Absolutely.
Nice wine. Very approachable wine. This is kind of I think this would be a good like everyday sipper.
Yeah. We made this one to replace most of our single varietals. Of course, we used to do a single varietal Merlot, a single varietal Cab Sauv, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And we felt that as good as those wines were, you take those excellent wines and blend them into something, you get something phenomenal.
Yeah,
and that's what we got with the rock pile here. And it's a wine that's just going to continue to blow us away.
Well, that's what you guys have chosen to do recently, too. You've chosen to go more really close to the style of blending your wines. I mean, the new world is so full of let's make a Merlot. Let's make a Shiraz. But the old world, Bordeaux, Burgundy aside, but Bordeaux, France, Italy, all they did was blend.
Yeah.
I guess if you can make better wine by blending, why wouldn't you?
Exactly.
That kind of makes sense?
That's definitely part of the idea behind it. And then also, I mean, BC does not have its signature grape yet. We don't have the California Zin or the California Cab Sauv or anything like that. We don't have the New Zealand Sauv Blanc. And I don't know how long it's going to be before we figure out what is going to be the signature grape for every region out here. But blends seem to be the way of the future for us. It seems to be where we can really distinguish ourselves. And while we'll never be able to produce enough to really be a big player on the world stage, we can definitely produce the quality to get
the quality right there. And this wine speaks for itself. It's got a nice soft mouthfeel, nice kind of tannic backbone, but not over the top, not cloying or anything. It's a decent wine. I enjoy that. And it's soft, it's subtle, it's not too goopy or jammy or anything.
Absolutely.
Alright, yeah, and like speaking about blends, like I said, why wouldn't you make something better? If you can't make a stir fry with like one vegetable. You gotta
Exactly.
use a bunch of different vegetables. Give it some flavor, some character. So the second one, we'll give ourselves a little bit of a rinse here. Now this is your Fifth Element, isn't this kind of your flagship wine, more or less?
It is. The Fifth Element's become, it's our big Bordeaux style blend, and it's certainly become the wine that, one of the wines we're best known for. This and our Old Vine Chenin, of course.
Now this, you guys are using your all 5 varieties for the Bordeaux.
Yes,
well,
we
right?
are. So
and
Merlot, Cab Sauv, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, and Malbec.
Okay, so this is a Merlot heavy wine then?
Yes, it is, yeah.
Okay, and sorry, this is your 06?
This is the 06,
This is the 06, and so you guys are hanging on to it for a little bit before release. Your 07 is just currently being released, right?
It is, yeah. We want to give it some time in the barrel and in the bottle beforehand. I mean, otherwise you're just going to get a wine that's too lean. We don't make the big jammy wines. We make the kind of more lean, delicate ones.
Yeah, well, I mean, give it some time, let the character develop in the bottle, right? And what I see right away is, I mean, yeah, it's not over the top, not jammy, goopy. I don't know if you can really see my glass there. But it's got a nice color to it. It's starting to get that kind of brickish orange hue, giving it signs of age.
Absolutely.
On the nose. Now these grape varieties you're using, Bordeaux blend grape varieties, they're big grapes.
They are.
They're not meant to be released right away. They're not really meant to be, they have so much structure to them, they need time to develop.
Absolutely. I mean, otherwise you're just going to get one that's just going to suck your mouth so dry you won't be able to taste anything else. Right? So.
I really like the nose on this. It's showing off a little bit of that aged character to it, a little bit of like, I like to call it almost rusty bucket, or a little bit of that antique store.
Yeah.
Kind of that cellar flavor or smell. It's kind of woody. A lot of big, deep black and red fruits, though. A lot of neat character to it. Yeah, that's not a spitter.
No.
No, that's not a spitter. That's smooth. It's incredibly smooth.
Absolutely. And I mean, what I love about it is that as smooth as it is, it's still got a ton of backbone to it. I mean, an 06 for this wine, it's still a baby. You know, this is a wine that we could put down for another 5 years and it's going to be drinking gorgeous.
Very much so. And the tannins they're silky and soft on this. They're creamy. Almost reminds you of like fresh coffee cream or something like that. It's just got that nice textured mouthfeel. It's a decent one. Now, what are we looking at for this one? Around $35, $40?
Around $35 to $40, depending on where you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice wine. Cool.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Joe, thank you so much for coming by today. Let you guys check out. I'm sure you've seen these labels around. Road 13, little truck. Now, is that your dad on the tractor there?
That is my dad on the tractor, and that's one of our wiener dogs, Phil, behind him.
Tailing along.
Exactly.
Great label, Road 13. Look for their wines. They're all about the dirt. They're coming out with some blends. They're doing something right. They're down in Oliver, South Okanagan. So, Joe, thanks again for being here today.
Thank you, Mike.
Yeah, appreciate you coming by. And everybody, remember, wine. Depretentious. Oh yeah, you guys have a website, don't you?
We do. It's www.road13vineyards.com.
Road 13.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Road13Vineyards.
Perfect. So I'll have those links below the video for you. You can check them out online. You can check out their events and everything as well through their website. Cool. So we'll see you on the next episode.